It almost looks like a sort of African savanna, except that the trees aren't acacias, they're these cork oaks and home oaks that are sort of dotted around. In the spring you get these amazing flushes of colour in the fields. As you look down on the ground and around you, and at your feet, you'll just see tens of different kinds of wildflowers. The yellow of marigolds, the white of chamomile, and the blue of the bugloss and so on. In fact, what you see immediately around you underneath the shade of a cork tree would be quite different to stepping out a few paces into the open grassland where you get another whole mixture of plants. You would see some very sort of charismatic birds that we're not familiar with. The great and little bustard and the cranes. The azure-winged magpie. The hoopoe. You get this sort of wonderful flash of colour from the bee-eaters and you hear them calling up in the sky. With the trees and with the pockets of shrubland, with the grassland, you've got this sort of mosaic of different kinds of vegetation which is supporting different plants and animals. A small cat species, pointed ears, a long tail, pretty camouflaged and cryptic, quite secretive also. You would almost certainly not see an Iberian lynx. The habitat loss and land use change, the significant decline in the rabbit population, and there's roadkill, and there's been hunting in the past. I think we're in a really challenging place, in some ways difficult and scary place, going past those planetary boundaries as they're sometimes called. We're looking at the global human population rising from 7 billion to 9 billion plus. We're really at the kind of the end game, if you like, in land use. The sadness of seeing nature going downhill so rapidly. The sadness, but also I suppose the sense of vocation and almost excitement of being involved in that kind of work. It's something that gets you out of bed in the morning, it drives you, you see the successes. The whole question about whether in a given landscape one should be trying to both provide food for people and also habitat for wildlife, or whether those should in a sense be separated out geographically. How we can feed the world, but also how we can conserve the wealth of nature. That's the challenge ahead of us. For me, the Montado system in the Alentejo of Portugal is a really nice example of harmony between people and nature. It's evolved in a way that creates space for people to make a living from the land, but also for wildlife to exist alongside that and indeed to be flourishing